Namaskar. Welcome to Conversations with Rakesh. Here's today's question. Sir, I watch your videos. I think I have no problem in standing up and speaking. I'm also very comfortable in a meeting room and I share my views. But I have one problem. I cannot assert myself because if I say something like no or assert myself with honesty, I feel that people might perceive me as selfish or they might think that I'm rude or very aggressive. And I also feel that I might lose a big opportunity. What do I do? Actually, there are three big questions here. Question number one is that if I'm assertive, what would people think of me? Would they judge me as selfish and aggressive? Second question is that if I am assertive, then would I lose an opportunity? And the third question is, how do I become assertive? This whole concept of assertiveness is so ingrained in how we are brought up and how we live in our cultures and societies. And I'll tell you a simple perspective that happens every day in social settings, that we may go to our friend's place and we all have to go to a restaurant and everybody has to order something for dinner and we all share. And everybody wants to eat, let's say, fried rice and some curry, and you don't like fried rice and you want noodles. But you don't want to say that I don't like noodles and they might perceive you to be selfish and aggressive. So you'll be like, okay, let's have fried rice. But deep inside, you will feel bad that, I'm not assertive. Every day I have to compromise. Then you come home and you go through a guilt trip and you just connect two and two together that I'm like this at office also. I can't even say no to anyone and everybody makes use of me. So these thoughts keep spiraling in our lives. Now, there is a reason why these thoughts come to us, and the reason is that deep inside, I think some of us really don't want to hurt others. And there is another reason for that. I think for us, we want always to please others. So we want their acceptance by being nice to them. Now, this is a big problem, and this is actually a direct symptom of low self esteem, that if your entire self-esteem is about people pleasing so that they like you, I think you'll compromise all the time, you'll never be assertive, and you will keep giving part of your life to others just to please them, and you'll come back hollow. And I mentioned this in one of my earlier videos as well, that if you are going to compromise and not be assertive and keep pleasing people, it will damage your self-esteem more. So please remember that there are two different issues here. People pleasing is a very dangerous thing. You must be nice to people, but that doesn't mean that you have to be nice to them all the time and do something you don't want to do. So that's one part. Let's now look at the second part, that if we are assertive, will we lose a promotion and will the boss and the clients feel that this person is saying no and very assertive, so we will not work with him? The answer is it could happen, but that's the whole confidence that you need to start working with, that you need to have certain values and principles and beliefs and certain priorities, and based on that decide what you want to do. And if in that priorities and values you are not keen to do something and you have to be assertive, whether it is assertiveness to your boss or client, there could be collateral damage. Now, the real issue is not about the collateral damage. The real issue is that you are very afraid of failures. It could be from some incident in the past where you lost a great opportunity because you said no or were assertive, and you felt somebody else got the opportunity. You felt jealous about it. So you tend to overthink these issues, but I think the root cause again comes down to your lack of confidence because you're very afraid of rejections and failures. So please try and understand that as well, because that's directly connected to how your assertiveness comes up. And the last part, how do we become assertive? The answer is very simple, that you have to say things as they are. You can be polite while saying it. You can have a very nice smile or a non-verbal which is non-threatening while saying no, but you have to say no as it is. And let's go back to our Chinese restaurant where everybody's ordering rice and curry and you want to have noodles. I think you must use the words with honesty, which is, I don't like rice. I want only noodles. And you can always be a little bit polite that, can I order noodles for myself? And I'm sure everybody, if they are your friends, would love that you have noodles that day, and you'll feel good about it. And your self-esteem and self-confidence will also improve because you did not compromise all the time. Now let's apply it in the corporate context, that your boss comes to you and says that, hey, do this work, and you're full and you have to say no. And you have plans of a family weekend and you have promised your family to take them out. You can't take this. So please start saying the words that, I'm sorry, I cannot do it. I'll have so much on my plate and I have a family vacation. I'll do it next week if I have some bandwidth. Now, the boss may stomp out and get very upset, but that's his problem, not your problem. I think it's a bad boss. So don't try and solve his problem by changing yourself. You first learn to be assertive. Do what you think is your value and priority and within the realm of your personality. And if you do that, I have a feeling your boss will say, all right, let me go and find somebody else who'll do it for me. And everybody's happy. Now, whether you'll get promoted next year or not because of this incident, I'm not so sure. But let's worry about it when the promotion comes, because I don't think the corporations are going to demote you because you're assertive. I think there must be a track record, there must be a system in place, and systems can be fair or unfair, but don't overthink and overanalyze. The most important thing you need to remember is you have to be assertive by saying the sentence as it is. And this is where, please remember, many of us, because we are not assertive and we are not confident, tend to use mitigating sentences, which means we'll beat around the bush. Yeah, I'll take this. I have a family trip, but I'll figure out. Maybe I'll work when I'm there. I'll get some broadband. You're mitigating. You're really not attacking the root cause, which is I cannot do it. So when you're mitigating, it's a sign of low self-confidence. So how do you overcome it? Well, my dear friends, you have to start saying no as it is. Now, here are some suggestions for you to be assertive and saying no as it is. Step one, please start using assertive sentences and no in friendly environments. Practice with your family and your friends who you trust. Don't depend on their acceptance to create your self-esteem, because it will harm you. And you are in this restaurant, say the sentence, I will not eat rice. I want noodles. And chances are you'll get your noodles. So practice that. That is step number one. Step number two, prepare yourself mentally that I have to assert myself and I can be polite about it. So please make sure that your face has the right nonverbals, your tone is right, and you are prepared for it. Even do role plays. I would even do a role play with my friend or a colleague or a mentor or my wife so that I'm better prepared to handle the conflict. And the last is, when you go and assert yourself, don't punish yourself that I said something wrong. Tell yourself this was the right thing to do. And this is where your self-confidence and self-esteem will improve, and you'll realize that the world will not penalize you. I think you are over analyzing that part, so please drop it. So let's take a stock of the whole thing. My dear friend out there, being assertive does not mean that you're rude or selfish or aggressive. If you choose your non-verbals and words carefully, you can always do that without damaging any relationships. But the most important request I have for you is that don't compromise and don't depend on people to like you because you have to please them. It will reduce your self-esteem and you will feel very guilty and regret it, and this spiral will never stop and it will attack your confidence. So learn to say no and be assertive, avoid mitigating sentences, and you'll realize that the world is a lot more open to assertive people than what you think they are.